when it comes to being in the forefront, I'll be the last person. I'd rather be at the back. And obviously, when it comes to Swami's work, for me, it started as a student, then I ended up being a Bhavikash teacher. So that itself requires a bit of leadership, trying to manage things, organizing class and stuff. But eventually I went into the youth leadership in the center and stuff. And I remember a point when, during a function, someone, uncle goes and says, "You will never be a leader." And then I just did not think much of it and just continued. And then every step after that was more like a constant one thing after the other, and felt like either I said to Swami unconsciously that, no, I'll prove this wrong, or or he was like, okay, no, we will get you there. So I never go for leadership roles. It just comes, and then and then it just and then often enough I try and resist it. But recently, whenever I've tried to resist the role, but say I'll do the work, the resistance just goes away. They're like, nope, you're doing it, and there's no choice. So I find that, like, Swami, what are you doing to me? So that's how it sort of comes. Like, it's not that you yearn for it. It's like he's saying, no, you can do this. I've prepared you for it. You should do it. Kind of situations appear.
When I think about it, the leadership program is about creating leaders, and you are someone who was told that you will never become a leader, but Bhagawan made you not just a leader, but one who leads the leadership initiative for young adults. Wow.
That is interesting, right? And Swami's, how Swami works.
So what were your cherishable moments of this year's leadership program in Prasanthi Nilayam?
The cherishable moments was how, when you do something this big, you hear stories about how difficult things are going to be. And yes, at the beginning, it felt a little bit overwhelming, because navigating the corridors of Prashanti, especially when you're a girl, because there's lots of males, and it's easier for them to navigate these things. And I was like thinking to myself, how am I going to do this? And what I found was I got support from the brothers, Brother Shivendra, who I report to. He was very helpful in that. And then I have other brothers as well who came in to make sure that I was okay. But they didn't do the work for me. They just told me what I needed to do, and I just go ahead and did it. But what I could feel through this is Swami's care. He took care of everything, even when I felt like, oh my God, I have to go do this. It's like, Swami, please help. And it's just happened. Everything just went smoothly. And I was waiting for that moment where something would just not happen well. But he just made it happen really well. So I think that's the most cherishable moment, because all the challenges did not exist. Nothing existed. It's just meant that one step at a time, getting things done. And the team itself, because they are the most cherished group of people. It's like, if I say something, could we do this or could we do that? And they'll be like, yes, we could. Or, guys, we need to do this. How are we going to do this? And they come up with these ideas and stuff, and it just happens so smoothly. So I think if it wasn't Swami, then who it was? Because I cannot take ownership of this program going smoothly, because at the end of the day, I know in my heart that was Swami doing it. Because if I did it, nah, it's not truth at the end of the day. Because I felt like everything went the way it went is because he took care of everything.
So all the tests became testimonies of his love, right?
Yes, it truly did, actually. And even when something seemed impossible, a solution would come about. Someone would come with a solution and resolve it. Yes, nothing's perfect. We'll always learn from these events and stuff, and we'll improve on things. But the journey, the experience, at the end of it, what you want to see is the joy. And that's what I got to see and experience in everyone. So that was the icing on the cake and the perfect thing anyone can get from an experience like this. And Prashanti, I guess, is the only place you can feel this, because it's the joy you feel with a global family of people who never meet face to face, and the only place they meet face to face is Prasanthi Nilayam. And the only time they meet is online. And some of the people we have not yet to meet, yet we come together and do this work. It's a living testament of Swami's love and how we unite and do this. So I guess when it comes to leadership, the undercurrent is love. And Swami's main teaching is love will serve all. And the team imbibes that. It's like nothing is impossible. Let's see how we can do this. And coming together and sharing that love with the mentees. And we often say, how is the program impactful, or do the mentees actually get anything? And when they reach here, and when they talk about the online sessions, how they felt, and we're like, okay, it did have an impact. They did get it. All the hard work that goes behind, the preparation, the effort, it pays off when you see the mentees coming in and expressing what they enjoyed, what they liked, the speakers, a moment with the mentor, what they shared, and then coming here, the experience they go through. Just like we had a panel discussion, and in there, someone was like, I was writing all the notes, reflections and everything. But when that happened, everything just crystallized and it made sense. Everything just came together. So it's like seeing transformation like that. Seeing people take away the takeaway messages and saying that I'm now going to start doing this. I'm not going to go change the world, but I'm going to start with me first, because that's where progress and leadership starts from. It starts within us, and then it may spread to the world, but we need to go within to be able to express ourselves.
You had the chance to interact with so many young leaders, boys and girls. Is there anything they said or expressed that touched you or stays with you now?
It's the way the program transforms these young minds, because most of them come with the doubt, is this program for me? Am I good enough for the program? Or should I be doing this program? And as they journey through the program, they realize that, oh my God, this is the thing I should be doing. This is where I'm at, and this is where I go to. There's like a few young adults shared the fact of the confidence they've got in themselves, and how it has strengthened their faith in Swami, how it has also helped them realize that leadership is not just in the circular world, it's in the spiritual world as well. And the values we have is no different. What we have in our spirituality can be translated into the work we do, So and that's what we want. We want them to be able to practice Swami's values in every aspect of their lives, to be able to lead their lives with those values. And that itself takes a lot of effort and confidence, and building that self-confidence and having that faith in Swami that he will show you what's next. And that is very refreshing to see. And we often enough, when we prepare content or deliver content, we have this doubt. Swami, we pray to you that you do through us. However, we hope we're doing it the way you want it to be done. And when we hear these stories from these young people, it's amazing. And obviously within our young adults, we also have a generational gap as well. But then when you see them, they have debates, but then you see them come together and then come to an understanding. That itself is also quite nice, because we often talk about generational gaps in our centers. But them coming here and doing that creates that understanding, and you know that they're taking a few things with them to go back into the countries. So that's the refreshing thing. And the joy, the pure joy from them is very much contagious. Like, it just passes across, and then it just feels like we are in a whole big satsang, and it's about Swami.
They will have the courage to take that leap of faith and do Bhagawan's work with great zeal. And all of them also experience the joy of being in Prashanti, right?
Yes, yes. Because I can see them, like for some, it's the first time. And just being present and just being in people's company that think alike, that joy. Also the joy of wanting to be part of everything so that they can feel that oneness. And when they come together and they start sharing stuff, or like they don't know each other, yet they feel connected. And that is that pure joy of them being able to share stuff with a room full of people who have they never met or never know. It never happens anywhere. Like, you don't put new people who have never met in a room, you won't get that rapport. But here, Swami's the connection. And that rapport just builds, and they share their hearts out in an environment where they feel safe to do so, and they know that they're not going to be judged. They can be honest. And from there, they start working out things that they need to. And it's just something that they take away with them. And to see that, and they build new connections and, like, new friends and new possibilities. They also meet people from their own countries which they've never met and connect, and how are we going to do this thing. So it's like how Swami walks through people, and that pure joy that you see, the love that he talks about. And it's not like, a give and take. It's just there. It's hard to say. So it's just like, it's not something you can replicate, I think, anywhere else. It just happens here. But we try to.
And we could also see that they were so happy to be part of the music program that they offered that day.
Yes. I think music brings people together at the end of the day. But like the songs that was, I feel like Swami sometimes brings people together through music, and that transcends boundaries. And the languages people that was in the musical offering. But at the end of the day, it was that expression of love for Swami, and that feeling of that we're all here together as one, offering Swami ourselves and surrendering to him. And that feeling itself is something I don't think anyone can express in words. It's hard to say, but it just felt like, as I say, pure joy. And you can feel his presence. And that was my one prayer during this course as Swami. Whoever comes to this course, they need to feel you. They need to feel your presence and to experience that. And when I hear some of the stories, which is theirs to share, but it's just felt like he made everyone feel special in their own way, which is nice to hear, and that one prayer that you have being answered. So I felt like, when you come to the conclusion and that feeling of joy, and that everyone in the hall felt that, it was just nice feeling, and that's what we want all the time.
Yes, it was indeed a great moment of fulfillment. But you are not new to Prashanti. You have been coming to Prashanti since your childhood, isn't it?
The first time I came to Prashanti was in between 1998 and 1999. It's a funny story. It was Swami's birthday in 1998. Mom and Dad comes home, and they're like, we want to go to Prashanti. And we're like, yeah, we should do it. Everyone thought we were mad, because at that time in November, trying to book a ticket from Fiji is impossible. And Dad went and asked everyone, so how do we do this? And somehow or the other, it happened. And then we had two other aunties join us, because they were like, how could you go without us? And then coming to Prashanti itself was an adventure for us, because we're from small island of Fiji, coming all the way to India, finding our way, navigating, and then finally reaching here, was just like a surreal moment. We just couldn't believe it. And I remember I had asked for this as a present, because I did well in one of the exams when I was younger. And just before I was about to start high school, Mom and Dad said we need to fulfill her promise. And it just transpired in this way. And I remember the first Darshan we were coming to, and somehow the other, because there were 2 lines per token, and Mum thought I was in the same line as her, because we just got separated. And then as the lines got up, we realized that we were in two separate lines, and Mom was like, come find me under this tree, the landmark, if we get lost. And then I realized that I got the front line, and it was where Swami would walk back after Darshan. And I was like, okay, this is happening. But then I wasn't sure. I did not know that Swami was going to walk that way. I was like, oh my God, I'm so far away. I have to turn my head around and have a look. And then as Darshan finished and he was coming back, he walked and then he turned around and looked at me, and it's like, I see you.
Just looked at you.
Yeah, he just stared for a while. And I was a young person, so I was just like, oh, that's like, I was in awe. I still can't describe that feeling. So
The eyes met.
yes, the eyes met. The eyes met, and it's like, I see you. I see you. You're here. You're real. You're not just in a picture at the altar. And so after that, it was just interesting experiences. Everything that Swami's grace is in, you get to see him. And that's the first time I was at part of the sports day. He came in a chariot. He was blessing us enthusiastically, and then he had a slip. And we were like, oh no, Swami, what's happened? And then after that, during the Darshan, while he was giving a discourse, he said, I slipped because one of the students was going to have a major slip and they're going to get injured. So I took that. And then that itself was like, oh my God, Swami knows. And those little stories and stuff have an impact. And then you realize that, okay, Swami is God. As a kid, it's hard to sort of comprehend all that. But as you grow older, it makes sense. And you make connections with the stories and how those things happened and why it happened. Some of the things you still don't know the why, but it happens the way it has to happen, and you learn from it as well. But I guess what for me it did was strengthen the faith that he takes care. He takes care of everyone. And that in itself created that yearning to know him much more as well.
When was the first time you came to Prashanti?
That was in year 6, and I was about 11-ish, and we have an external exam. And I had not realized, because my grandma, she's not with us anymore, she used to be always persistent about me studying, and I was someone who was like needed to be on the tail, so she would sit there and study. And when the results came, I happened to have the highest mark in the school. So Mom and Dad said, what do you want? And the words that came out of my mouth was, if you can, please take me to Prashanti.
Oh, wow.
And I still don't know how apparently it just came out that way. And that was my wish. I don't know. It's just like, because I always heard about Swami and I wanted to go and see him. So this is my opportunity. I can ask for it. So
now tell me, how was the Prashanti in real form, in reality?
I think when we see the old videos, we see the sand and everything. And obviously the newer ones you don't get to see often. So when I came here, I was like, oh, this is much better, I guess. But it's just the environment itself it's peaceful, right? Even if you step out of the gates and coming inside the gates, you can tell the difference. So it's the peace you feel and the safety, because my sister was very small at that time. Mom was worried about her. And every darshan, because obviously in between darshans, there's break, right? She would get up herself, go get coconut, have that, and come back and sit back into the darshan line. And this is someone who's like not even 10 yet. So and Mom would just let her be, and we would be like, having all these stuff, and the safe, you feel safe, you know you're home and you're protected, and you can go any corner of Prashanti and you'll be fine.
So after 1990s, you still continue to come to Prashanti, right?
Yes. So then we moved to New Zealand and we came as part of a choir group at the time. And at that time, we couldn't be part of the choir because obviously my grandma was not too well at that time. So that became priority. So we had special seating. And before the choir started, Swami decided to come down the veranda and he made a beeline for us. And you can imagine what the choir was feeling at that time because they were thinking, is Swami going away? But little did they realize that he was actually coming to us. And he came straight to me and he said, Bhajan? No bhajan singing? And at that time, I knew what he was saying in my head was because I used to shy away from singing bhajans. It was a rare event. So, and then he went away. And at that time, I was like, and I told my mom, she's like, see, he knows. He knows he's shy away from bhajans. And so that was one experience. And then the other one was just before he took Mahasamadhi, and that was in 2011. It was January, and we came with a small team of young adults, and there was another group, I think, I forgot, it was a European country, and we wanted to offer Swami a little set of songs, and he decided that, no, you're going to do it with another country together as one. So at that point in time, my sister and I, so you got the first row like this, but we were like the first row from the back line, and we had that unobstructed view of Swami. And so we were like the most happiest two girls there. And everyone was like, why you guys are like second and third row. We were like, you do not know what position we've got. It's like, it may feel like we haven't got, but we actually got the first row and unobstructed view of Swami. And I remember during that darshan, before that, we had to write letters to Swami. And that was the first and only time I wrote a letter to Swami. And in that instance, I was like, you give me everything and there's nothing I can ask for. All I can say is express my love and gratitude. And that's what I did. And during that offering that we were doing, he was actually opening everyone's letter and reading it at that time. And we could see, and you'd open the letter and he'd just look at you and you know that, okay, I think he's got my letter. And then it was just that feeling of it. To be fair, if I come think of it, it felt like it was just us and Swami, and the entire cycle month hall just melted away. And at that time, that energy that he gave out, it was immense. You could just feel it. And that warmth in itself, I have not felt that anywhere else. And till this day, it's hard to express that into words. It's like what he gave that night is just pure energy and his love. And I remember at one point in time, he looked at the boys and he's like, see them? And it was just like he's trying to say that there are others like you in the world as well there. But that experience in itself was quite unique. And I don't often talk about that to anyone.
And now when I connect this with your first darshan of Bhagawan, and I reflect on your life, knowingly or unknowingly, you ended up in a profession where you are giving yourself away in service. You today is becoming a nurse. So was that also inspired by Swami?
Yes. When I was little, we used to have medical camps in Fiji. So mom and dad would bring us there. And I used to go from doctor room to doctor room, sit there. They'd be okay with me sitting there. And I guess that was a little sort of spark of inspiration. And from that time onwards, the answer was healthcare. I just did not know what. And I remember during one of our classes, we had health professionals come from, in that particular university paper, talk about the different parts of healthcare. And until then nothing resonated with me. And then we had this nurse who came and talked. And she talked about what the nurse's role was. In my head, it was like, this sounds interesting. And all of a sudden, it's like, this is it. This is what I want to try. And so that's the pathway I went down. And it was a good pathway because it had a bit of everything. And you learned about how you care for the patient, just not physically, but mentally, psychologically, and spiritually as well. So it's just not that, oh, here you go, I'm going to give you meds and this is it. You have to look after that whole person, and that person's with you, that's someone's loved one. So you have to be careful. So that, I guess that service came into it as well. So, and then also coming into the specialty I am, I always wanted to be an operating room nurse. However, Swami was like, not operating room. I'm going to put you in the operating room, but you're going to go into post anesthetics, where you wake patients up from anesthesia when they come out, and that's the most vulnerable stage. That's where I'm going to put you. Until then, I have not left that area of specialty, but instead I've gone on to be an educator in that specialty. But one of the experiences that really resonated with me was the one where a patient came out, they were not doing so well. And I guess I just stopped at that point in time and just held their hands and just encouraged them to breathe and just get them to a point where they're stable enough, and we can move them to a HDU. And that's what we did. And then what happened, 2 weeks later, I get a card. My manager gives it to me. It's like, this was given by this patient. And I opened that card and it said, to my dear angel, thank you for when I was giving up my life and not wanting to live anymore. It was your voice bringing me back. And that just gave me the shakes, because I was like, I don't know I did that for you, but I felt like it was just Swami working through me doing that for her, because it's like you never know the impact of what you do. But at that point in time, it just felt right to hold her hand and just tell her to breathe, because otherwise we would be doing everything else. But I just did that, and it was that point that sort of made her want to not give up and brought her back. And when I think back, it's like, you may think it was you, but that was just Swami walking through us. And often enough with patients, if they're challenging, I have to go, Swami, please help. And then it just automatically becomes easy to deal with as well.
So you feel his presence constantly in your work?
I think sometimes Swami would think I'm a mad person, because I have a conversation with him constantly as well. So is this right or is this wrong? Do I do this or do I do that? Because that constant, it's there. So it comes easily. And if you're stuck, you just go, and I usually go put my headphones and listen to Bhajans and walk away. But yeah, it's just there all the time.
This is so beautiful. Every day you are meeting people who are going through difficult times, and you have the chance to fill them with Swami's love and Swami's energy. So I guess every morning you wake up with a lot of enthusiasm, right?
Try to, yes. Yes. It is one of those things where I think if you love the place where you work, you look forward to going to it, right? So I guess it never has been a day where I've not said I don't want to go to work. Yes, you get sick and stuff, that's different, but it's not like a task. You get up, you've got things to do, and even when things are not going crazy, it somehow gets handled and settled. So it's just, yeah, it's easy and peaceful.
And you get enough time to do organizational work and your professional work. Bhagawan manages both.
Yes, yes. Because often enough, when something feels stuck, somehow the other solution will come, or someone will come and say, hey, we thought about this, or we could do this. Or even with the organization work, it's like it just happens. And over there, you know that Swami takes care of everything. But when you are there in the world, sometimes it's hard. It's easy to lose your way and your presence. And when you do, it's important to reset yourself as well. So that balance happens as well. So it's like maintaining that balance is also important, because you can't just do one thing only. You have a life, you live it, but you have to be considerate of the choices you make as well. So, yeah.
So you are in Prashanti, and in this year of his centenary birthday, and you are in a leadership role, discharging such a beautiful responsibility. So tell me, what are your thoughts, your wishes, your prayers on this occasion of his 100th birthday?
It's a celebration, right? It's a celebration of what he's achieved and what he's still achieving, and the fact that his love has no boundaries. He doesn't need people to be a Sai devotee to know him or to feel him. It's like we're all celebrating that 100 years of pure love and what he's done to this world and shared so much, that now we're just going to express our joys and celebration and gratitude of what he's done. But I think the most important thing that we need to do is, have we given him back what he wants from us? That's the most important thing in this celebration. Are we giving him the present that he desires? And that's something that we all need to reflect on. Even though we outwardly celebrate the joy, but what does he actually want from us? Are we able to give back to him as well? So it's an exciting event, and I think the lead up to it, it's like that's the pre-birthday celebrations and then the birthday celebrations, and we're going to have post-birthday celebrations as well. So it's like a continuous journey, but I feel like everyone's got the spark in them and that momentum. And the important aspect is that momentum doesn't get lost after the 23rd. It's up to us to continue maintaining that momentum and working on ourselves and giving him the best present we can for his 100th birthday. And I think everything at the moment, it feels like, how is this all happening? Because everyone's got their plans, everyone's got their celebration, everyone wants to do something for Swami. And it's just making that happen for everyone. And being in that presence is the most important thing, I guess, for me. Sathya Sai